Well, hey now, folks, John Duffin here, Duffin Media, Duffin Coaching. Hope everyone is well. I happen to be coming to you live from Philadelphia, PA, and wherever you happen to be, welcome aboard. What we get to do here is I get to deliver 3 of my big time top communications tips. Yeah, big time. We will put you in the big time, making sure that you get to utilize these techniques, communications hacks, and the reminder absolutely doable, learnable, achievable, and deliver results fast, right? So the very next time you are talking to someone when it matters, asking for money, asking for a new relationship, asking for a date, maybe, right? If you want to keep it personal, asking to move the business forward, asking for funding, asking for a job, making certain you're keeping your seat at the boardroom table, right? All of these things that matter, you have to be able to communicate effectively. You don't get an unlimited number of opportunities to improve or swing the bat for that big home run, right? So, what we get to do, I'm giving you absolutely serving up 3 of my top tips today. And each of these tips have been proven, utilized. I'm happy to share them because they have worked. Did I invent them all? Probably not, but don't matter because I've utilized all of them when I've managed, coached, led. I have shared all of them. So these are present day success stories. These are present day tips, but they've been utilized for a number of years. So there you have it. That's the platform, folks. So I am thrilled that you're here. So if you happen to be catching me live on Facebook, great. Happy to have you here. Welcome aboard. And if you were here, and I already see some people here from Facebook, which is great, drop a note in the comments because I will see the note. I will know exactly that it's you. I'll get to acknowledge you in kind. And heck, if you have a question, do that too. But let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're from, where you're watching or listening, what have you. I'm in Philadelphia, PA. Where are you coming from? Drop it in the comments, and that way I'll know. By the way, same rules apply. Hello. I'm the communications guy, right? Same rules apply. Same rules apply on LinkedIn. Okay, same deal. Drop a note in the comments. I'll know. I can see some LinkedIn folks here. I just can't see that it's necessarily you. And I would love to be able to acknowledge you as well, too. We're also broadcasting live from YouTube. And with that being said, let me share that we are not just in the United States. We are in Calgary, Alberta. Tara, oh my gosh, one of my all-star colleagues. This makes me so happy. Tara Gaudry, who we shared a lot of coaching, the all-star coaching experience. We were both benefactors from with Dave Scatcherd. And Dave Scatcherd, if you're within eyeshot, earshot, know that we love you. And Tara, I am such a fan. Thank you for tuning in. My gosh, that just makes me so happy. Thank you. And folks, wherever you are, let me know because I'd love to be able to, again, customize the experience for you. And so here's when we get to go. Now, listen, it's woot woot indeed. I never know if I say that properly, by the way. Woot woot. Tara, you tell me, am I doing it right? Here's what I know what we're doing right is that I'm going back. My thought today has to do with a limited amount of time to make a maximum amount of impact. Okay. And I say this because when you're communicating with someone, this has really never changed, but it has never been more true than it is in 2025, which is you don't get unlimited swings with somebody. People are not going to give you unlimited chances to be able to earn their business or secure a job. When I broke into my field, broadcast advertising sales, digital advertising sales, honest to God, when we talked about a progressive relationship back then, no kidding. It was really progressive. It was no problem to continually feed that same client pipeline. And you could go on, and maybe a close would take, you'd hear people talk about, oh, I've been working on this for 4 years. You tell me now in 2025, approaching 2026, when somebody says, I've been working on this for 4 years, I hate to sound sarcastic, honest to God, but most of the time I'm thinking, what took you so long? My God, right? Nobody has that kind of bandwidth on the other side to sit and play serve and volley for forever. The client gets bored, the company gets bored and frustrated too. So here's what I'm thinking of today, right off the bat. This is the very first technique. The easiest way that I have learned, and I don't mean easy, it doesn't take effort. I mean the most foolproof way to build, secure, leverage, enhance a relationship, right? Is to solve legitimate problems, timely legitimate problems that person or company has. And you may be thinking to yourself, oh, God, I showed up for this. Who doesn't know that? Understood. Got it. But here's the secret hot tip for the day. How do you really learn what it is that's timely, relevant, and a progressive problem? And that's what we're going to work on today. Okay. So here's one of the things I think about, and this comes from a number of sources. The fact of the matter is, in any business conversation, most clients, and you tell me if I'm wrong, you know what I mean? I'm raising my own hand. All right, I know I'm here. But what I was going to say is drop a note in the comments if this is true to you. Most client-based or business-based or employer-based, those communications rarely ever begin with, hey, I got to tell you, thank God you came in. Thank God you called me. Here's what's really going down. You know, my job's on the line. I'm really underperforming. I got to be able to find this great solution. Has anyone ever said that to you before? Ever? They've never said it to me. Never once. 25 plus years, not one person has dropped their guard that way. And they certainly haven't done it the moment I walked in the door with donuts or whatever. Company pens. That'll get them. But here's what I would say. The key to getting the best answers is asking the best questions. There's the magic, right? If you remember nothing else from today, the skill that you have in asking the question has everything to do with the answer you're going to get. And you may be thinking, right? The fact is, thank you, Tara. The fact of the matter is, if you took nothing away and thought, how can I ask better questions? How can I ask better questions so that I can get a legit answer that's not some cookie cutter, the field that I still am in, but was in for over 25 years. Oh, we want to reach women in the 25 to 54 demographic. Do you? To do what? So asking generic questions, and I'll throw myself under a bus, like, so what's your demo? Who are you trying to reach? Would get you a dumb answer like women 25 to 54. Everybody wants to reach women 25, 54. Who doesn't? But to do what? So the tip source today, by the way, funny because I've learned it in a number of places. I've been grateful. If any of my sales trainers from across the board, the Sue Andersons of the world, the Paul Shapiros of the world, oh my gosh, the people at the Center for Sales Strategy, all the great people that taught me the skill of asking great questions. I'll throw you a couple tips today, right? So again, you're going to work on your questions And before I do that, here's your second tip of the day. Tip number 2, you have to earn the right to ask a good question. What's that mean? Again, you have to earn the right to ask a good question. It means an advertiser is going to gauge your authenticity, your business acumen, your empathy, the fact that you care, that there's something in it for them based upon the way that you are conducting and carrying yourself. Reaching into your handy dandy, computer and starting to bat out questions, they're not going to ask them regardless of how good they are. So you have to earn the right to ask a great question. So what would be one of the ways that you could think about, even in the small talk portion of the beginning of a conversation? What could be one of the ways that you could demonstrate that you deserve the right to ask a question? Hey, thanks for having me here today. I really appreciate it. This was great. Yeah, your offices are really nice. How could you earn the right? One way, if you did nothing else. I'll give you one. Listen to every single word that person says. Don't miss a word, right? Focus so intently on that person. I mean, don't freak them out, but I'm just saying, focus on them. Make them feel like they are the most important person in the room, because they are. You trying to remember scripts and pitches and handling objections and being all over the place and fishing around for the Excel spreadsheets that you brought. Stay in the moment in the very beginning. Whether it's a phone call, whether it's a Zoom conversation, whether it's in person, and always in person is your number one way to go, but that may not be available to you. So you earn the right by demonstrating you are all in. And then tip number 3, do your homework. Do your homework. We talked about yesterday in terms of the live coaching in regards to that sense of making it easy for somebody to understand where you're coming from, getting that buy-in from someone, making sure that you're headed in the right direction. So, great questions. Here's what I've learned. By the way, I'm going to name check a television personality in Philadelphia who taught me, and I remember I watched this person on an interview, and she taught me one of the coolest things that I utilize when I host a podcast. And anytime that I'm interviewing someone for business or for creative purposes, and one of the things that this person said, yes, I'm leaving her name very much under the radar. Oh, why don't I just tell you? Her name is Sheila Watko. Sheila Watko is the entertainment reporter and also the morning news, the early morning news traffic reporter for NBC 10 in Philadelphia. And I love her to death. By the way, I'm just such a massive fan of Sheila's. And here's what Sheila said. When she's interviewing, and she's interviewing some of the top celebrities in the business. They're promoting their new movie or their new series or whatever the case may be. And one of the things that Sheila said, and I take this to the bank, and you should too, is try to ask a question of that person that they haven't been asked 10 million times before. Try. And that's the operative word. Try. You don't have to overcomplicate something. You don't have to, in essence, have your brain blow up because you're trying to think of such an amazing question. You're just trying to ask them something they haven't heard in a while, something that catches them off guard, something that demonstrates that you prepared and that they matter. Okay? And you'll be thinking, well, how do I do that? And then I say, do your homework. And you're like, well, what do I mean? And no, I can't see you through the Zoom screen or the StreamYard screen. No, but what I was going to say is, here's what you can do. And it's really easy. And it's amazing that so many people don't do it or feel like they don't have the time to do it. And I'm going to tell you, you do. Want to ask great questions? Literally Google, YouTube, ChatGPT. I'm going to embarrass myself. So the ChatGPT generator that I utilize, and it was suggested that I create it based upon, and I thought, well, I'm told I have decent energy. You know what my person's name is? And it was suggested the ChatGPT name, Sparky. It just reminds me of why I got beat up so much in grade school by all the bullies, right? But I called my ChatGPT generator Sparky, and I'm like, hey, Sparky, I saw that this person's business, and I might pull up something I saw on YouTube or Google or their white papers or their business plan. Is there a question I can ask, a follow-up question? And that's a key. You always want to be asking follow-up questions. What do I mean? You get a couple minutes on the phone with somebody. You get a couple minutes in the Zoom. If you have to start with things like, tell me about your business. What are your peak seasons? What are your gross profit? Or, I mean, they're not going to tell you that. But what I mean is, if you're asking generic questions, people get checked out and bored right away. If you are literally having them follow up with something, for example, hey, I saw in an interview. I do this with most of my podcast guests, by the way. Hey, I saw in a prior interview that you were talking about so-and-so. And ask something about their answer. If you have them follow up or continue a thought about something that's already been covered, right? Something they've covered, and you want to continue that thought, that's a new question. And that seems like a lot of work. It's so easy. But I got to tell you, I've been told a countless number of times, business conversations, interview conversations, creative, professional, money conversations. I can't tell you how many times I've been told, John, that's a great question. Oh, no one's ever asked me that before. Here's what this does. They get caught off guard, and that wall. Tara and I were part of this all-star coaching platform that was amazing. And one of the words that was utilized was armor. People have this armor up when they're in business. The armor is up because they don't typically want to give you something. And they don't want it pulled off them, right? So the armor goes up with pat answers and standard things. And, oh, yeah, just give me a proposal. What I'm saying is, ask them something they haven't been asked 10 million times and prove that you have done some homework. And the follow-up or continuation question, to me, never fails, because they love the fact that you paid attention. Oh, I just did it yesterday, for example. Oh, I saw on LinkedIn, on the article you wrote on LinkedIn, you were talking about the business relationships of your vendors and the way that you're able to navigate your top 3 vendors. And I like that. My question to you is, and I simply followed up a continuation of that. And it's a brand new question, and it feels fresh and alive, and it enables them to pull some of the armor away, open up a little bit, and speak. I'm telling you, I said 3 tips. I think this is 4. Take every answer they give you like it's gold. I say in the beginning of the conversation today, listen so intently, your 100% focus is on them, their every word. Any answer that they give you, it's gold. Because unless you're in a business, and some people are, some of my colleagues and friends are in a business where they're expected to close on the spot, regardless of how long it takes, their expectation is they're going to close on the spot. I never felt terribly comfortable with that, but I've done it. but I've never felt comfortable. So one of my favorite things to do, again, as I said, is to progress a relationship by using the information that I have either secured or, even better, been given by the client to formulate better questions. So anything that I am told in a conversation, I am always able to do. This sounds like so legal and law and order, like it's not. But what it is the technique of being able to do the following. Hey, last time we were talking, you told me, or you shared with me, the following. So I thought I would do something about it, or I brought you something on that. And now you're setting yourself far ahead of the curve. Again, you get to ask an even better question or provide a solution based on really something they did rather than just yanking something out of your tool bag, which is so often when you're feeling pressure and you got to get something done right away and you got to be rolling and I got to close this, and that you're just throwing things. So what I'm going to suggest, if you got more business to conduct today, great. I want you to do this before your next phone call, Zoom session, StreamYard, in-person, coffee, networking event, whatever it happens to be. Number one, if you know who the person's going to be, do a little bit more detective work. Just a little. Go Google them. Chat. Hey, I can't even. I embarrass myself when I say, "Hey, Sparky," but it's true, right? But it's true. Hey, ChatGPT, find me a little bit more 2025 info on blah blah blah. Okay, get it. Then you're going to formulate a question or two that is not some standard cookie cutter. Tell me about your business. Who is your target audience? Don't, because they're never going to tell you what you want. They might tell you something. They might tell you to go away, but they're never going to tell you something that matters. And then here's the big problem. They don't give you a real problem. And then you spin your wheels trying to solve this made up problem. And it means nothing to them. Nothing at all. So today, or before you go home today, or before you shut off your computer or this evening, have it ready for you first thing tomorrow, which is you're going to do a little bit more homework. Try to find, if you could ever find that person on social media, and who isn't anymore, right? Find that person on social media, or can you find them on YouTube talking about anything? The more relevant, the better, obviously, but talking about anything. If they've ever been interviewed on a podcast. So often these podcasts are transcribed, right? Just go down and look for a question that you liked that would work. You might be like, well, I don't want to listen to the full 3-hour Joe Rogan thing. Can't blame you. That might have been a cheap shot. It might not have been. But what I'm going to say is this. Look at the transcribed version and scan it like you're looking for something. You're only look for a question that they answer about anything, right? Everybody's getting interviewed anymore. And so the fact is, see what they've answered. Number one, you'll know not to ask them the same question. You'll know to ask them something different. Or you could say, hey, when I saw you on John Duffin's podcast, you were talking about blah, 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 and you got asked blah, blah. I wanted to follow up on that a little bit more. I wanted to expand upon that a little bit more. Honest to God, people are shocked because they really don't think anybody's paying attention to them. And so you come off like you're trying. You come off like you care. You do. You went to the trouble to do so. And then you're asking them a more relevant question, which enables you, again, to have them to pull back their armor a little bit, answer you a little bit more honestly, thoroughly, completely. And then it's up to you to take the information, these nuggets, these gold nuggets that you've secured, and do something with them, right? Every bit of information matters so that when you speak with them again and you can get to say to them, hey, look, last time we spoke, we were talking about such and such, and you were saying, so I therefore did something about it. I came up with an idea. I brought you some additional information. I had a question about that. I wanted to see what I want to make sure. I want to make sure I understood that correctly. So when I say the answers that you receive, the problems that you are provided are all predicated upon the question you ask. Does that make sense to you? And I don't mean do you understand? I mean, I know you're not stupid. But what I mean is that if you work off of that foundation, each subsequent conversation, follow-up, new business call, each solutions-based proposal is going to have sharper teeth. And that's a good thing. So this is what I'm suggesting today. Take the time. Take the time. Whether you got more business to conduct today, great. Do a little bit more digging. Again, social media. Find something on LinkedIn. Find an article. Find an interview. Find a YouTube podcast. Find something. Scan what the person has talked about. If it's relevant to the topic, that's the best ever. And if it isn't, find something as close as you're able. You're going to ask a follow-up question or a continuation question. Hey, I saw you say blah, blah, blah. I had a question on that. Could you, and in whatever that follow-up is a fresh new question, which provides fresh new intel, which makes you an expert in the field, which gets you to the top of the charts as it relates to securing new information and real problems to solve. That makes sense to everybody? Just like that. That's what we wanted to do today. Provide these top tips. Honest to God, I might have said in one of the previews to make you rich. Who knows? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll make you rich this afternoon. Maybe they won't make you rich this afternoon, but I'm telling you, you'll be so much further ahead than where you were, and you will not have to spend you won't have to spend an insane amount of time getting to the next level. That's what I found. Everybody here has the potential to be leaders in their field, and this is one of the surefire ways to do it. So that's where I'm rolling today. I'm very, very, very grateful. Wait a minute. How's this? I love this. What are you working on right now that excites you? It's a great question. I love it, Tara. Beautiful. Really well thought out and really well done. I'm going to make one suggestion on that question to maybe take it to another level, which is do a little bit of digging and see if you can find that answer on your own. Again, look at LinkedIn articles. Everybody's now writing articles. Everybody's writing a book. Me too, by the way. It's not done, but it's well on the way. We're all writing books. We're all writing period pieces. So see if they say, hey, I'm working on this passion project right now that really excites me. So that then the question could be, I read, I saw, I watched that you're working on this and you were saying how much it excites you. What are some of the things that you're doing? I think it's a beautiful question to ask somebody, but if you get the chance to do a little bit of digging on your own and you find it, and even if they stopped working on it, whatever that was that excited them, 10 minutes ago, people are all so excited and then they move on, right? You can at least say something like, hey, I saw in that YouTube interview that you're working on this, and I saw that this really matters. Are you still working on that, or have you found something new that really excites you? And you could take every one of these up another level. And I say that because I think that's awesome, because people will feel that. And Tara's really good at what she does. And you feel that, and people will want to answer that question. You can take every question up a notch without overthinking it. And then they're thinking, oh my God, she gets it. She did her homework. Oh my God, she's paying attention to me. How cool. And then they all of a sudden can't stop talking about what excites them. Right. And so I say that because you want to get past all of the distractions. You want to get past all of the noise. You want to get past everybody being so damn guarded that they don't want to tell you anything because they're so afraid that it's going to come back and bite them. So help them. And ultimately, you help yourself. Meanwhile, in terms of help, simple reminder, folks, I get to come back tomorrow and we get to do this again. I'm frantic. I should have had this set up already. I'm typing something as we speak, which is weird. But I'm putting up my email address for this reason. Every day I leave this with you so far during this 5-day coaching blitz. Every day I put up the same thing. If you have something specific that you're working on, something that you'd like to work on with me, I offer a 30-minute free discovery call. It's only free to you because you were paying attention to me during these sessions. It's what I do for a living. So I typically don't throw these around for free. But anyone who's been watching me any day this week, including today, you want to customize things a little bit more to you. You want to learn how my system works specifically. The system I call the let me say it properly. The Hyper Authenticity Business Blueprint. I like leaning into I don't know why, but the Hyper Authenticity Business Blueprint. It's my 4-pillar proven system that makes you the best communicator. So I know so. And we could start with a free 30-minute discovery call. And you just have to hit up my email at jd@duffinmedia.com. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for showing up for me today. You make it fun for me. I get excited. I'll answer Tara's question. What am I working on right now that excites me? This. It really does excite me. And I'm thrilled. Tara Godry, who showed up live, and we were doing a lot of interacting all the way from Calgary, Alberta. This made my day. Every one of you that were watching me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. We will be coming back with more. And in the meantime, John Duffin here, Duffin Coaching, Duffin Media. Thanks for checking me out. Have a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye.